Hello and welcome to this session for FIT 2023. I'm Martin Bacon, and today I'm going to be talking to you about experiencing cloud voice and how it's built for business. So, as I say, it's me, Martin Bacon. I'm the consultants team leader here at Chess. I've been with the business for 9 years, and I've pretty much done every job in technology, albeit not development, because didn't really float my boat, that one. But my specialization within the organization is really around unified communications, and that's from a number of different platforms around our cloud voice product, as well as others that we might involve, such as Microsoft Teams. I head up the Microsoft TAP program here at Chess as well, where we're early adopters of Teams technology, undertaking beta testing with those guys, as well as undertaking beta testing with devices from the likes of Poly to make sure that our customers are getting the latest, greatest features and that we can give them a heads up in terms of what's coming down the lines. So here's our agenda: how we're going to enable the hybrid workforce, advanced features for better communication, and then looking at scalability to match business growth. So with relation to cloud voice specifically and enabling the hybrid workforce, we are all in this position. We've been there pretty much now. We know what it's about. But what we're finding now with hybrid working is that a lot of the difficulties come from feeling part of one team and visibility of what people are doing, how they're working. And a lot of the technologies now that are enabling us to do this are latching onto that fact and enabling us to see various items, such as presence, for example, is a great one that we all use on a day-to-day basis. Is that person available? Let me just check. Oh, they're red. No, I can't contact them. So a lot of this stuff's now there. Of course, for enabling this to happen in the first place, the cloud is the ultimate place to start, because with the cloud, as we know, everything's available over the internet. And of course, it then brings in the inherent flexibility that comes with it for scale and continuity, etc. So I'll cover that in a bit more later in this session. But of course, again, with hybrid working, it's very much the position that you want to be able to use on a device that you're flexible with. So for me personally, I'm very much a headset and a soft phone type of guy, albeit I do have lots of devices around me for demonstration purposes and mobile apps, of course. But we're seeing now that choose what you want to use type mentality is very much being adopted by businesses to make sure people are comfortable and get the best productivity, and also just keep things running smoothly, because it's all about being able to do it quickly, efficiently, and in most comfortable methods possible. With add-ons that come with these sort of things as well for your flexibility, I've mentioned here that any of the devices that we put in, CRM integration, call recording, and analytics, so it doesn't matter what device you're using anymore, all of those ancillary services can still figure out. So say, for instance, I was on a phone call on a physical device in the office. I then go and work from home for 2 days and I've got a soft phone, and then I might be on the road for a day and I'm picking up calls from my mobile app. All of the necessary things that are encompassing the reporting, the call recording, all those important areas will talk to all of those devices as well. So it's great that you've got that flexibility there enabled too. When we talk about devices, I mean, specifically headsets, we've seen it come on very, very crazy, if I'm honest, in relation to the amount of technology that's being built into these, as well as the artificial intelligence. I mean, I always do a good experiment with my customers when I'm demonstrating the power of these little things, is that I can sit there and sort of clap and you can't hear it, and rustle up a crisp packet, and I've got 3 dogs that will go off barking when the doorbell rings. And because of the technology that's built into this kit now, people can't hear that. Well, they might hear a tiny snippet, but then the AI cancels it out. So on our AI sessions, it's not all about the whiz bang stuff. A lot of it's built into these as well, which you'll see. But the wide range of headsets that are available for our customers to be able to utilize now can go from sort of the entry level wired USB type elements to the round the neck ones, which are quite useful. So you've just got the microphone sitting here with all the earbuds, into I've got Focus UC here, so with the built-in noise cancellation to stop the background noise being heard by me, as well as blocking out other bits. I've also got one of those little 5200 UCs that I take with me when I'm on the road. Then if you really want sort of that extra range, if your kitchen's quite far away from your home office and you want to make a coffee whilst you're on the call, we've got something there like the Savvy 8220, which means I think it's about 145 feet. You can walk away from your desk in that sort of scenario. So features to meet all requirements. Again, coming into the handset side of things, a wide range of capability in terms of your entry level. It could just be for a shared area, or a very low requirement in terms of what a handset needs to do, right up to your full-blown VVX 450 there, which can take function units and have programmable buttons, got built-in speakerphones, USB for headset plug-in, and also your conference room phones. So a lot of the conference room phones now can be paired together with additional microphones, and they'll work off PoE. So really simple now to deploy. I've got power supplies hanging out everywhere and all this sort of thing. And also with the one-touch mute around all the edges of those conference units, it's really quite useful just to be able to tap it, put it on mute, or one-touch join on calls, those sort of things, all there as well. Of course, my favorite area, which I think is seeing the most development out of all of them now, is our soft phone and mobile apps. It's making it a lot more appealing to be able to just download an app, sign in with your credentials, all secure, and then crack on like we see on the left here in relation to our Collaborate application. All of the features and functions built in that you'd expect for terms of accessing corporate address books, company directories, being able to set yourself on do not disturb, your presence, signing in and out of queues, of course. And then one of the key benefits with Cloud Voice that we've got out there is Teams integration. So as we know, Teams has come great guns over the last few years in respects of it being a daily go-to for a lot of our customers. I know it's one thing that we use immensely on a day-to-day basis. And being that familiar interface where you've got all of those things that you'll be in. I need to go to my chats. Let's check those out. I've got a meeting. Let's join. I need to check the channels to see what the latest updates are. Right down to my phone calls. So it just makes natural sense of progression for your calls to now be hitting the Teams area, and you'll get that familiar Teams interface within the desktop client, the web client, as well as the soft phone also on mobile. So it's very much a similar way of being able to just keep that day-to-day operation working. I've got a good case study here. And so Paydens have been working with us for a number of years, and we traditionally had just their sort of old copper line ADSL internet technologies and that sort of thing. We moved them into the cloud for their head office a couple of years ago, but then the challenge came about with the 2025 switch off. And whether we're using that legacy technology, it really was an opportunity for us to look at the art of the possible, because a lot of the other systems were moving to cloud, and there were a lot of strategic operational parts that they were thinking of centralizing subscriptions and prescriptions, should I say, elements out into a centralized location. And so we took advantage of that and did a number of consultations with these guys and really said, right, what are you trying to achieve? And some of the key things were removing that old copper technology and the sort of standard PSTN 2 handset phones that they had in each pharmacy, replacing that technology, getting it on with Sogea or lease lines and that sort of thing, just to really bring it up, future-proof it for 2025. But of course, with the reliance on other technologies moving into that, meant that their voice, as well as their day-to-day management systems, were all cloud-based. So the reason came about of single points of failure, which were quite worrying. So we wanted to look at reliability and resilience. That was absolutely critical for that pharmacy, for instance, to be able to operate. So in the event that a line went out, it can automatically switch over to 4G or 5G, which will cover not only both the voice side of things in that respect, but also the day-to-day operational line of business applications as well. And then the final piece of the pudding, really to make sure that it was all centrally managed. So with a management overlay, looking at the performance of the lines, the equipment and everything, the failover statuses, and of course we're managing the cloud voice side all together. It was just such a great way to get everything under one roof, or with a simple solutions with a central management platform. And it's worked really well for these guys. Looking at scalability, and this is something that I do get asked quite a lot when I'm speaking to customers, and it's mainly around, okay, so how reliable is this platform? What resilience have you got in? And it's nice to be asked these questions purely because there are a lot of cloud providers out there, but not a lot of them are doing it well. And to do it well, you've got to have that resilience. You've got to have that sort of real attention to detail, that in the event of a failure, something else is going to kick in. So with the scalability of this platform, it doesn't matter if you're a single site with a single user to 100, 1,000 sites with thousands of users, it's capable of dealing with your requirements in terms of all the functions that you could require in relation to auto attendance, call queues, call groups, reporting, call recording. It's got everything that you could possibly need. All of the infrastructure is built on effectively blade technology in 4 data centers around the UK. So the scalability aspect is really simple in that if it needs to grow, you can grab a blade, pop it into the infrastructure, gives it the additional processing power, and you've expanded your capacity. Lines can be expanded really easily, etc. And there's over 700,000 end users that are using this system on a day-to-day basis. So it's just got all of the proof in the pudding there in terms of exactly what it's capable of. So when it comes to advanced features for better communications, what do we actually mean? And this is what I alluded to earlier in terms of getting the right information, getting the integration piece, and looking at the next level. Because voice is voice. It's very straightforward. And it's all about how the infrastructure is built and the key features and functions. But when you're trying to do next level stuff and really get your business running, this is where these sort of things can come into their own. So we'll start on Teams integration. So as I mentioned, we touched on this before, but the Teams integration element, having everything in one place, is a game changer in terms of your productivity and being able to just, you don't even have to deploy an app. If you've got Teams already installed, once we enable it, it just appears. So you can remove a lot of implementation time by looking at that Teams integration. We speak to a lot of businesses that are really keen on getting the minute detail on how their people are performing. So with the Akixi platform that we've got that we can integrate into our cloud voice solution, you can get live data on up to 30 dashboards that can auto rotate after a certain amount of time, schedule reports, whether they come to you via a PDF or a CSV file and that sort of thing. It's web-based, so you can monitor it from anywhere. You can be sat on the beach, sitting there with your people, making and receiving calls and keeping on their performance, even with a mobile app as well. It's all about measuring and improving, because if you can't measure something, you can't manage something. And what we see from a lot of our customers is that this sort of facility will enable them to know how to make changes and when, who is doing well, who isn't. And one of the great reports that I've got in here, that if anyone wants to see it, as part of the sort of consult process we've done, is an unreturned missed calls report, which is so important for so many customers. So what this report actually does, it will show you a list of missed calls effectively, and it will show you those which have been called back, as in green. So that one's happy, they've been called back, and all the ones that haven't in red. And a lot of customers are using that report at end of days, that will last 45 minutes. Say, right, let's do our unreturned lost calls, and they'll go through it and assign them out. And then as those calls are going out, all of those lines are turning green. So a nice proactive way to ensure you're not missing anything. From that, though, comes our next level, which we're sort of addressing on another session for this, which is contact center. So when you're really getting into that point of wanting to get one up on the competition, really wanting to take control and give your customers that excellent service, that's where contact center comes in. And you don't have to be a massive organization now to be a contact center type customer, because the cost price has come down. The learning curve is a lot easier, and you don't have to think like all contact center is this big room with little desks and loads of people with headsets and just bashing numbers, scripts and all that sort of thing. It's not like that anymore. It's very much tailored to how you want it. And some of the key things that we're seeing customers want out of this are things like callback facilities. So rather than you sitting in a queue, you can say, would you like to hold your position in the queue and we'll call you back? Yeah, great. I can get on and make a cup of tea. When that position hits, calls the agent, this is a callback, rings the person, etc. It's really good. VIP lists, or indeed block lists if you wanted them, if you've got some un-VIPs. And what that will enable you to do is prioritize certain people by looking at the number, saying, right, that's an important person, put it out. Even helped a customer where we integrate it into their CRM, where we said, if their CRM record states that they are late in payment, then route them straight to the accounts team, which is a great little thing. The intelligent routine for getting people to the right person, the right first time, is always good. And then, of course, full supervisor controls on that is an absolute God-given, amazing thing, because you can see exactly what your people are doing, and you can take them out of stasis, you can move them around, you can do whatever you want to do to make sure that your people aren't taking 45-minute comfort breaks, and getting reports on that as well. So there's a lot of stuff we can do with these advanced features here on our cloud voice platform. With me, I can easily go through all of these solutions, explain what it's all about, demonstrate every single area of it to make sure that it ticks all those boxes for you, even down to the Teams integration, the call recording, the reporting, the dashboards, the whole works. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing you, and have a great day. Thank you.